And to that piece of lieutenant that's always on his podcast, bash us, yeah.
Attention, roll call.
That's right. Good morning, everybody. 8:05 live Eastern time. If you're looking at the screen, this is not the Brady Bunch. I know it looks like it. But it's the entire cast of the Finest Unfiltered Network. Thank you, everybody who's been with us this entire year. We want to wish you Merry Christmas, Christmas Eve with the Finest Unfiltered. It's been a hell of a year. I want to thank the Adams administration. I want to thank our trolls for helping us grow. We're at almost 70,000 subscribers here. Thank you to everyone, our friends and listeners. We appreciate it. Special thank you to Hassan, the man chatter, who's always with us, and of course, most of the people here that are, been consistent. Thank you, helping us grow. It's been a hell of a year for content, and as we embark on another year, I think we've been kicking some ass, so we appreciate it. We're gonna go around, just have some fun today. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. Relax. If you want to, whatever you want to put in the chat. I think we could go over some issues. If any questions you want to ask, of course, you have the entire cast here at the same time. So if there's any questions that you want to ask, bring them up. So let's just get into it. We'll go around. John, let's kick it off. Let's do it, brother.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Merry Christmas. I guess we'll just go in order. We'll go from top to bottom over. We'll go to Ron next. But yeah, just thank everybody. I think it was a good year. I think there's a lot of shenanigans we're watching towards the end of the Adams administration. So that's how a guy retires 10 years ago, and now he's vesting from the New York City Police Department when he was never reassigned to the New York City Police Department. I mean, there's a lot of questions coming out. We've watched, 4 police commissioners. Sal pointed out that now we've had also another historic first in the Adams administration, 4 fire commissioners. So, I mean, this year has been filled with a lot of stuff. Yeah, Eric Adams reigned over a run of scandal not seen since Boss Tweed. Honestly, I think this is. I honestly think it's worse because society was more corrupt at that time than it is now, and there's so much more social media, and the fact of how Eric Adams, his entire administration, the upper echelon of the NYPD, how they're moving and pretending like no, nothing's going on, and it's clearly in everyone's face. It's been historic to watch, dude. It's been like a drama series. You're watching the chief of department defile himself right live on social media, attacking us. And, we learned recently. I mean, not that we learned, we always knew. I mean, myself, Eric, Sal, Marlon, we all knew that like the upper echelon of the NYPD was trying to destroy us. And to find out how right we were is insane. It's like now that we have those IAB files. So, obviously you guys should expect some litigation coming out of that. And, as that happens, we'll divulge more, but it's been insane to watch. So yeah, Ron, what's up, brother? Good morning, dude.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. The Brady Bunch. Here we are. And, yeah, just want to wish everybody happiest of holidays, whatever holiday that you're celebrating. Happy Hanukkah to all those, to Eric and Jack and all our listeners of the Jewish faith. And Merry Christmas on this Christmas Eve. And Happy Kwanzaa for those who will be celebrating later in the week. Like you said, it's been a great week. It's, I can't believe that we're coming up on episode 45 of the Executive Perspective, which Rob and I started our journey with the Finest Unfiltered back in February of this year. It was great to join onto the network that John started. Eric jumped in. They became partners. It was great, and then Sal joined the network with the second show. Then we came on, and now, Marlon's been a part of the family since the start. We have Tommy and Pete now with the 10-4 Tavern. Another great show last night, guys. And yeah, it's been great. I think we have an eclectic group and a lot of different content that's covered in a lot of different ways. We have Jack, our producer, who's now part of the Sal Greco show. yeah, it's been a good year. I've enjoyed it, giving us something to do in retirement. But like you said, yeah, lots to talk about, lots of stuff going on as this administration winds down. Rob and I, when we talked, we said we weren't going to do politics. That was an impossible task to keep up with, because politics has just completely infected the NYPD and policing in general throughout the country. So, but hey, listen, on this Christmas Eve, I want to keep it positive. So I just want to wish everybody a blessed Christmas, all the best, happiest of holidays. For those of you who are struggling, keep your chin up. Hopefully we keep it nice and light today. It's a tough time of year, and for a lot of people. And special shout out, special blessing to Eric and your family. And I know it's got to be a tough time. Going through your first holiday season without Derek, and you still got to keep the game face on for that beautiful young daughter of yours. So, love you, brother.
Likewise. I just got to say before Jack jumps in, I think this is hilarious. It's Chronicle says, "Hey, better to do a podcast in retirement than being drunk on Twitter."
Depends on who you ask that question to.
That's pretty funny.
Some people would beg to differ on that one. They probably enjoy drinking on X at 8:13 a.m. in the morning more than being sober.
And
Especially if you're a disgraced chief who has nothing to do and has failed after your round robin media tour after retirement.
Yeah. So what's up, Jack? What do you got, bro?
Yeah, no, thank you everyone who supported us, listened to our various shows over the past year. It's amazing how things have evolved even since January. I was reflecting on this last night. I mean, 11 months ago, almost to the day, Jeffrey Madry's home was being raided by the FBI. The NYPD was in total chaos and mayhem. And I mean, just look at everything that's transpired between then and now, with Zohran Mamdani being elected, everything that's taken place on a national scale. And it's been great to just have a front row seat to dissect all of it with you guys and establishing credibility and relevance as a national media outlet. It's been a fantastic year. I've had a great time personally, and the future is only bright. We're close to having 70,000 subscribers on YouTube as well. So if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. And we have some great content in store for 2026 as well.
Yeah, awesome. Marlon, what do you got, brother?
Yeah. Morning, guys. Morning, chat. Merry Christmas. It has been a wild ride this year, and I think the wild ride is going to continue even further into 2026. I did some digging last night, and the stuff that I'm not going to talk about it today because we're going to keep this stream kind of it's Christmas Eve, so. But I can't wait to get to it when we get back into next year. And I think I think we're shifting the conversation. I think we're sucking the air out of the room and out of all the NYPD podcasts and all the other policing podcasts. And I can't wait for us to continue doing it into the next year and bringing up current issues and highlighting those seminal figures in law enforcement. Over the past however many decades, and I'm excited about the platform too, and excited where we're gonna grow and where we're gonna be in the coming years. So.
Awesome, Tom. What's up, brother? Good
All
morning,
right.
dude.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Appreciate it. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Happy Kwanzaa. Ron, I'm surprised you didn't say Festivus. Happy Festivus. Isn't this where you get to air your grievances? This is where we air our grievances, right?
Very true. Very true.
Festivus for the rest of us. Festivus for the rest of us. I just want to thank John, Eric, and the rest of the team for all the help and support and inviting us on. Just for a little walk down memory lane. Pete and I were both guests, and then John called me up one day and goes, "What are you guys doing, man? And let's do it." It was like funny you said that. Pete and I bellyache and get on the phone once a week and rant for 2 hours, and we said, wouldn't it be great if we just had a podcast and talk to some of the law enforcement folks around the country and see what's going on around the world and around the country specifically. And like, John, perfect timing. Thanks for asking us. We'd love to do it. We really appreciate it. It's been fun. It's been great. I mean, reminiscing with people that I haven't seen in 15 or 20 years across the country, doing law enforcement, and then meeting new people that Pete has brought on that I've never met before, and getting to know them now, and now calling them friends. There's a lot of interaction behind the scenes, and then the chats and the support. Every episode we get probably at least 3 or 4 good, solid, kudos, which really makes us feel good and support. I'm sure there's some naysayers. That's perfectly fine. They're allowed to say what they want to say and feel what they want to feel. But we try to bring light to what's going on across the country, not just here in New York, but everywhere. It's a common problem. It's a common thread. Last night, Monty Bynum from Georgia Grove Investigation talked about leadership in general as a whole. And man, did a couple of times did he get a little fired up and really, he's like, I've had enough. I've really just had enough. So what we're trying to do is spread the message for those cops, those middle level supervisors, becoming executives at one point, try to just share how it was and how it should be and how it still could be. This law enforcement profession that we're all involved in, either adjacent or actually involved or retired from. We all have friends, family that are still on the job. All my little leaguers, I brag about it all the time. All my little leaguers are now cops, detectives, and sergeants now. And I'm waiting for that little leaguer to make lieutenant. I can't wait. So, what they should expect from their leadership and their management and their direct supervisors, looking out for them and taking care of them, and what policing really can be for them. The most noble profession in the world. I wouldn't change a minute of it for anything. It's the greatest ride you could ever have when done right. And I just want to thank everybody, thank the team here again for the support, getting us up and running. And it's been an honor and a pleasure. So thank you. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy New Year, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and then definitely a Happy Festivus. Right? Maybe we can, put out the poll and air some grievances soon. Take our shirts off and do what we have to do. But I just want to thank John and Eric for after I did my my podcast with them and talking about maybe you guys want to get on with Ron and stuff, and it was a great idea. My wife had been listening to Finest Unfiltered for a long time, and I would always hear it and I'd be like, oh, why are you listening to that bullshit? I don't want to hear it. I said, that's ridiculous. I've been hearing guys complain, and then she's like, no, just listen to it. It's good. Take your time. So I listened to it. I'm like, holy crap, these guys know what they're talking about. They're spot on. They're really good. And I was happy to join. And truthfully, now I'm happy to be part of this family. Although I could say this, I don't know, Tom, what do you think? This kind of looks like a photo array. And I'm waiting for somebody to get picked out here.
Yeah, it's a 9-pack. It's a 9-pack. It's a 9-pack. First time.
But I just want to thank everybody for helping us, helping Ron and I, and being part of it, and all the guests that we've had on, especially the people in the chat, Eric, like you had said, the the haters, and all the people that are able to give us donations and stuff. We really appreciate everything. I do want to, I know even though it's Christmas Eve, I do want to say my heart goes out to the Delaware State Trooper from Wilmington that was killed yesterday. Ron and I talk about it all the time, active shooters. He went in and he did what he had to do, and unfortunately he met his demise. So God bless him and his family, especially in this time. And I don't know which one of us are Alice the maid here, but I'm not taking responsibility for that. All right.
It's funny you say that, Rob. I realized I was like, we can't grow anymore because I don't think there's room for another spot. We got 9 spots. That's it.
No, that would be the Brady Bunch extended family. I don't know. We can't do it. So, but no, I just want to thank everybody. Wish everybody a happy holiday, whatever you celebrate. So thank you for having me today.
What's up, Pete? What's up, Pete? What's going on, brother?
My brothers. Hey, man, happy holidays to everybody, whichever holiday you celebrate. God bless you. I hope this holiday season brings you and your families peace and serenity. Hey man, I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm honored that you had me on the platform, folks, with Tommy, because what you do is important. You don't perhaps realize that at times. You can't fix what you're not willing to talk about, right? And sometimes when you talk about things that are uncomfortable, it's rough, man. It could take you years, but it's worth the fight. We as Tommy said earlier, we work in a very noble profession. Look, I'm retired, but I'm still tied to the profession because I love it. And I love having these conversations because I love what we do and I care about the next generation of cops. But it's not all peaches and cream, man. It's not all pretty. And if you're not willing to call out the bullshit, then, you can't fix the problems that we're seeing. And look, as far as, Eric Adams and his crew, I've said it on social media before, but, ethical men surround themselves with other ethical men. Men who lack a moral compass surround themselves with men who lack moral compasses. And that's what we have with this current administration. I mean, there's no doubting that. And I've known this since Eric Adams was a transit cop back in the 1980s, that the man lacked character. So it shouldn't surprise us. But again, man, it's a noble fight to fight for the truth and to speak the truth to power. And I commend you all for doing that. So it's an honor to be here. I look forward to what we do in 2026. And yeah, man, to the listeners, God bless you all. And as someone else mentioned, hey, man, it's okay to not be okay. It's not okay not to do something about it. So if you're in a bad spot, man, talk to somebody, whether it be a chaplain, whether it be a priest, whether it be a family member. Don't just sit in the darkness and suffer, man. Find the light, because you can get back on your 2 feet and live a good life, man, if you're in a place where you're suffering at the moment. So, don't let that be your downfall. I've been there. So, and to Eric, man, God bless you and your family. I know this year is the first year in the current situation. Much love and respect for you, brother. And I'll just leave it at that. But thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Pete. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, so I'd like to wish everybody, a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, especially to Inspector Fickru of Group 1 that retired yesterday because he wasn't going to go along with the Richie Taylor did nothing wrong investigation that the soccer mom's doing there with all the nonsense he's been doing. I don't know if you realize that. I actually put that out. Also, the Molina thing is crazy. That is, I don't even know how you could get away with that. But as we've shown on this network, the Eric Adams administration they did whatever they wanted. They really don't care. They don't care what you think in the media. They don't care about what's in the court. They just go ahead and sue us and whatever. They don't pay, the taxpayers pay. But a shout out to Fickru, whether you like him, you don't like him. He actually resigned and has integrity rather than go through a sham investigation. Because Richie,
I wouldn't go that far.
Richie Taylor.
At
least not yet.
just remember, he authorized sending cops to my house on a Saturday night without my knowledge, without my requesting.
That's a separate issue.
That was door with Fickru, and I'm looking forward to seeing how much integrity he has when he's sitting on the stand on the oath. So I'm looking to see how much integrity he has then.
Maybe we'll call a yacht after him.
Well, this guy, but the soccer mom is kind of like coaxing them to go along with this entire nonsense with Taylor, who should be investigated, right? I mean, you can't just sit there and go, well, this guy's leaving work early. He says he's working from home. Who gave him the authority, And, there's other things like Kaz and all this other stuff going on. So, it's a pleasure to come on. And, like what I try to do and what we all try to do here is we're kind of like an outlet for, law enforcement and anyone in general. I mean, even like political figures. And we like to stick to fact-based analysis, things that are facts. If there's a rumor, anyway, if there's any kind of rumor, it's got to have like more than one source as it is. So, especially with the things that I was saying yesterday, I know we have some drunk, we'll say, I don't know what to say about the guy. He's making a complete jackass of himself on X. And I did see Joe Roscoe ask something. Just to one more time, I just want to, clarify this. Uncompensated security is not a charge. Nobody cares. Joe Roscoe, my own judge, didn't care. It's not a charge. I don't know what the obsession is about, with this stuff. But I'm going to tell you, John Shell's got a nice future when it comes to litigation, plenty of it. So I don't know if he's going to be, being deposed from a bar stool or wherever it is, but you have a lot to stand, you're going to have a lot to answer for. And I see the lieutenant's in the chat room. He said Merry Christmas. I don't think he even celebrates Merry Christmas. I know what your name is. Come on, guy. Who are you kidding with that? But hey, I love the haters. I love all the fans, and we're just going to keep growing. And if everybody can, we're almost at 70,000 subscribers. So keep hitting that subscribe button.
Yeah. Listen, I first of all, I just want to say, man, you look around, right? Like I'm looking around and I'm looking at the screen right now, and this is a vast amount of experience in law enforcement. And what's amazing about this is most of us never crossed paths throughout our careers in law enforcement, right? Pete and Tom were well retired before this podcast ever started and network ever started. And Rob and Ron had vast different careers, and we didn't really cross paths throughout our careers. John and I worked together as rookies, but we went on for 20-year careers and in different directions. And Marlon had a totally different career than we did. We all had, and yet we come together. And that's what's so interesting. I think, Pete, you said, this profession always stays with you, and it does. It does. It's more than just a job. It's a calling, and it's something. I always say that once you enter law enforcement, you have this label that never goes away. God forbid, 20, 30 years after retirement, God forbid you're involved in something and you're in the paper, it says former NYPD or former law enforcement officer. So you're always tied to it. So I think it's impressive. It's amazing how we have so much different experience here. All I wish is that we all had worked together. I mean, in the NYPD, Ron was my boss's boss. So, we crossed paths on a different level, but I think it's really impressive that we've built this network now and have this family. So, Tom, I remember you had told me when Derek was battling cancer, why didn't you reach out? This is a family. And I even spoke to Mike Marino, former chief, and he said, same thing. Why didn't you reach out? And I said, I felt outcasted by the NYPD, the bureaucracy that I felt. And he said, well, there are a lot of guys that they want to help and give them that opportunity. So, Tom, I appreciate that for you pushing me in that direction. I appreciate it sometimes. And as Pete says here, right, it's okay to not be okay. So, sometimes it's okay to ask for help. So I want to thank everyone that helped myself and my family battle with Derek. And it's an honor to honor him. And thank you, everyone that did help. I really appreciate it, whether it was you reached in your pocket or just wished for prayers. So thank you, everyone, in this first holiday without Derek. And, he's in my heart every moment. I always tell everyone it's like carrying 100-pound weight, and every day it gets a little bit lighter, but you're always holding it. So I want to thank everyone that is in this team and in this family, because you have helped me get through this. Doing this podcast has been my vice. So for the people that say, oh, you're in retirement, go enjoy your life, I'm enjoying my life. So thank you so much. This has been nothing but greatness, and I enjoy it, and I'll keep doing it every day. John, Ron, and Jack, and Tom, and Rob, and Pete, and Sal, and everyone in this chat, and even on Trolls, you know what? I love you all. I don't have any hate in my heart. If you have hate in your heart, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, I think, and the platform's been like such a relief to like the rank and file as well as retired guys. We get messages every day. Once we get messages from cops that are jammed up. We get messages from cops that are about to be jammed up. We get messages from cops that are going through mental health battles, and they don't trust their unions. They don't trust the NYPD. And honestly, I think, as much shit as we get on this network, and as much shit as me and Eric and Sal and Marlon have dealt with, it's really like we're really doing a service not only to the public but to the rank and file, like across the nation. And leadership needs to wake up. And I think that this platform should show that, is that like when you actually give opinions and you talk and you ask questions and you give the actual honest, hard truth about what's happening, it's not against anybody. It doesn't mean you hate law enforcement. It's actually the complete opposite. It's a sign of leadership, and like I know for a fact that we've saved a lot of lives in the NYPD, a lot of lives, and it's something that we don't get credited for, and it's honestly, I think it's something that needs to wake up. We talk all the time about, oh, we're always a family, we back the blue, we back each other, but yet there's this whole culture that you're not allowed to ask questions, you're not allowed to talk about what's going on, and if you do, you're not part of that family, and you're completely outcasted, almost like we swore an oath of omerta instead of where we swore an oath to the Constitution of the United States of America, and it's wrong, and it's costing people their life. It's costing people quality of life, and people are suffering out there. And to talk about the ills of the profession is not to hate on police. I always say, I'm like, look, you don't love me if you sit there and you see me doing something wrong, and you're just like, oh yeah, everything's good, John, you're good. Everything's good in your life. Don't worry about it. Everything's good. Our marriage is happy. The kids are doing good. Everybody's good. When it's the exact opposite, that's not real love. Real love is being like, what are you doing? What'd you do this week? Like that's and that's kind of what we're doing. And I think, I appreciate all of you guys on here having the balls enough to do it, because, like everybody that joined up, you all saw what the hell was going on. You all saw what was happening as you came on. I mean, I remember even telling Eric, like the first time, I go, look, dude, if you want to do it, I'm just letting you know, bro, there's a lot of people that don't like me right now. And he's like, I don't care. Like, I don't really care. He's like, I've been through the ringer already, so I don't really care. And I was like, all right. And then it just kept evolving. Sal, Marlon, Ron, Rob, Jack, Tom, Pete. And, I know Pete went through the ringer, but like, I know you've been through the ringer too, Pete, but like, it's, I'm just honestly, I'm thankful that we're all coming to an awakening, not just us on this panel, but I think even law enforcement as a whole. We talk about the issues behind the scenes. Why can't we talk about them publicly? Why do we have to see the fluff Fox News pieces where, it's not the reality of what's happening, And then, so, I thank all you guys for having balls, really.
Look, it's easy to stay quiet, man. Like I spoke up about something because it had to be spoken about. Look, it would have been politically correct for me to just shut up. But I mean, some stuff was happening that needed to be fixed. And again, you can't fix what you're not willing to talk about. But look, the most important thing at the end of the day is, can you look yourself in the mirror, right? Like, can you genuinely look yourself in the mirror and like what you see? And I'm not saying that I look pretty, but look, I did what I had to do because it was the right thing to do, And that's what you folks are doing. Again, you can't fix things that you're not willing to put the light on and analyze and just find the solution. And that's one thing. Like if you're just bitching about things, you're complaining. But if you're talking about potential solutions, then you're actually leading. And look, you don't have to be a leader to lead. You don't even have to be in the profession if you have the ears of people who are in the profession to lead it. But again, you can't fix things that you're just going to bury and pile more sand on and more sand on. And that's what's going on. And man, it breaks my heart because, look, yes, I left the NYPD in 2001 to go to ATF. I did 21 years at ATF. I love being a detective in a homicide squad in the Bronx. I love being an NYPD cop. I love being a housing cop before that. I mean, it was family. But I don't recognize that department anymore. And look, we had problems back in the day, but we self-policed. The problem is, I think, in the current administration is that you had so many folks at the top that didn't have the capability of doing that because they all had dirt on them and it's descended into this thing that I just don't recognize anymore. And that really breaks my heart because I said, I genuinely loved the NYPD, still do. But it's not the profession I walked away from. It's certainly not the job I walked away from in 2001. And that's sad.
Yeah, I just want to say before Ron goes, I also want to thank this network because I still have a lot of hair. But I remember when I started this network, I was looking in the mirror and I'm like, oh shit, my hairline's going. And then I realized I joined the network with all bald men. So I want to thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Whoa.
I'm giving Sal's got a full head of hair. I'm not Marlon, by the way. He always wears a hat. So Marlon's bald too.
But I'm not bald.
I got hair.
What's the ratio of bald to not?
Sure you do, Marlon.
I outed Marlon.
Like a 1-to-3 ratio, right? Sal, myself, Rob, Tom has some hair, Ron has some hair, everyone else doesn't, but it's okay. We still love you guys anyway.
Rob's got the best head of hair.
Hey, listen, we have a receding hairline, Jack. What's your excuse? Come on.
Yeah, mine isn't receding, not yet anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's really a tremendous honor to be with all of you guys because I think especially amongst the younger generation, we live in an era where We like to commiserate about things. We like to talk about the cost of living, things being so expensive, inflation, yada, yada, yada. But we don't do enough congregating and talking about solutions to our actual problems. And this network really epitomizes the concept of proaction being the best antidote to despair. We've seen what's taken place, not only with the NYPD, but in my case, not coming from a law enforcement background, coming from a more media-centric background. Everything that's going on with city, local, and federal government right now, we've looked at it, we've observed it, and we've said, we're not just going to stand here quietly like sheep and do whatever our leaders tell us to do. We're going to discuss things and we're going to proactively come up with solutions. And there's a real courage behind that, because everyone can complain and talk about what's wrong, but very few people have the balls to sit in front of a camera and really dissect and analyze it in the manner that we have done so far. And I'm extremely proud of everyone in the chat right now, everyone on the screen, for really having the courage to step up, man up, and be totally different than anyone else out there. Because you look at all of these media outlets that we're competing with who steal our quotes and our content and our information. I mean, it's just the homogeneous delusion of content has really taken over in the era that we live in, where people are just stealing each other's opinions and parroting generic talking points. Very few people are coming up with their own independent thoughts, and that's something that we really hang our hats on here at the Finest Unfiltered, and we can celebrate that during the holiday season.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Jack, the chat's a big part of the show. It's a very big part of Rob and I's show. We have a large engagement with our chat during our show. Then we have the Ask an Executive segment at the end. But I think, to everybody's point also, it is a First Amendment platform. We believe everybody has a voice, including the chat. We don't always agree, right? Opposition meets opportunity, as someone once said. And we have
Where'd
that.
you hear that
and
from?
forth. What happened?
Where'd you hear that one?
I don't know. There was some hashtag genie that used to do hashtag OMO, hashtag EDM. I don't know where all that started, but we had a lot of fun with it. But in all honesty, we have our haters. We love our haters. Keeps the content going. It's great. We do a lot of, what a lot of people call critiquing, what members of the police department do, not just the NYPD, but other things nationwide that are broadcast on the news media, on social media. And we bring them up on the show. We all do it. We do it in a different way. People complain and say, "Oh, you're talking bad about cops and you're complaining about cops and you're highlighting bad things." No, that's not what we're doing. To Pete's point, you can't fix it if you don't talk about it. And I say it all the time on our show. Yeah, it's Monday morning quarterbacking, but Monday morning quarterbacking isn't a bad thing. It's not to attack those people in the videos. It's not to attack the situations that they were put in. It's to discuss them. It's to talk about them. It's to break them down from our perspectives, from our points of view. There's a vast array of experience from a lot of different parts of the NYPD. The NYPD is a huge organization. People have all different experiences. This platform shows that all different experiences, from within the NYPD to the federal government with Pete, to the media with Jack, intelligence with Marlon, the detective squad, patrol, anti-crime, and special operations lieutenants, the administrative positions, to the emergency services and all the special operations with Rob's expertise. And we take those things and we look at these videos and we look at these news hits and everything else. And yeah, we give our opinions, we give our perspectives on it. And everybody's entitled to their perspective and everybody's entitled to talk about it. And what we try to do is to look at these incidences, analyze them, highlight the good things that happen, talk about the struggles that the officers have that people don't understand why they may have reacted the way that they react. And when we believe that they've done something wrong, we point that out also, but not, again, to attack those involved, but to hopefully bring light to there's a different way of doing things. Things could turn out differently. Things could have been done differently to get a different outcome. And sometimes there's no way of getting a different outcome. That people don't understand. Like it said all the time, right? What John said all the time. Police work doesn't look pretty. And we bring that out, we highlight that, and that doesn't mean that we're against the cops. Everybody on this platform loves the rank and file, loves what police officers and law enforcement officers do every day, going out, put their lives on the line. We talk about this Delaware State Trooper, went out yesterday, put his life on the line, ran in and to stop carnage and wound up losing his life, right? But when we talk about it, we're not talking about it, again, to criticize those involved. It's to try to show those viewers that there may possibly have been a different way to handle it, so that if they come into a situation, maybe that they might think that there's a different way out.
Can I jump in here? So KB in New York City writes about Lenny Levitt, and back in the day in New York City, and I just happen to have the book right here, Power and Corruption in the Country's Greatest Police Force, NYPD Confidential, Lenny Levitt. And it's been going on forever, and it will probably always go on forever. The job isn't the agency, it's the people. And the people surrounding themselves take care of each other, look out for each other. You know, someone once told me, when you become a sergeant, you're like half delegate, half supervisor, right? You still got to look out for your people and take care of them. So I think that's what a lot of it is about. And then John, you were talking about, and you guys all talk about the haters, and they're on already and everything. It's perfectly fine. There's an old adage in psychology: other people's opinion of you is none of your business. It doesn't matter. You do your thing. You live the life the way you want to live, what you think is right. The chips will fall where they may. And so the truth should always and will always prevail. And I think that just having these conversations, I'm just shocked. I think this guy, Lenny Levitt, actually had an effect because he was watching over and calling out craziness. And when you see the new media, it's not just here in New York City and the Finest Unfiltered, it's all across the country. There's a reason why these podcasts are getting the traction they're getting, especially the ones that dig deep into issues. It's because it's no longer a mainstream media soundbite for 20 seconds and that's where you get your news. It's like, no, I want to dig into an issue and I want to hear the details, because before I make a decision as to the way I'm going to go and the way I'm going to think and the way I'm going to feel, I want to hear the details, not a soundbite. And so Dan Bongino, one thing he did say that I do agree with, he's like, all an election is a bunch of soundbites. You people need to listen and really get in. And he was promoting his own podcast, but that actually makes sense. You can be right twice a day. A broken clock is right twice a day. So anyway, so that's how I feel like that. And I think, again, just keeping the truth going and beauty. It's okay to have civil discourse back and forth. The personal attacks were going last night, and calling people clowns and stuff like that. And it was distracting. So you're always welcome back. We got a fresh start. I apologize if you thought that you were offended. I didn't think you were. I didn't think it was wrong to time you out. But it's all good. But you come back and we'll have a real healthy discourse. If we agree, great. And if we disagree, great too. On ideas, not people. So
I'll jump in right there, because I think, Tom, you have spoken about it before, like a business model is why do we do this? And people will ask me all the time, why do you do that? Why are you on the podcast? I did 35 years, Ron did over 30. So why are you guys on there? And I'll tell you why, because of our experience, right? You look at young cops and you look at the gap between young cops and supervisors and older cops, there's a huge gap. So our experience, everybody on this platform has the experience, right? And we share it with them. And then also our knowledge, right? What our experiences, our knowledge, what we've learned from the job, are the mistakes that we've made, and teaching others not to make those mistakes. I always say it's always great to learn from your mistakes. It's better to learn from somebody else's mistakes, right? But it's always good to learn. And then our ability to speak, right? When I spoke to John Eric the first time, I said, this is why this platform is so great, because cops are silenced. I was silenced, right? And as an executive there, I was told, shut up, don't say that, don't say this in the meeting, say that. And I would say, well, sometimes they need to hear this. And then when I was able to finally get into special operations, I told those guys, don't be afraid to tell me anything. I don't care. You could tell me I'm an asshole. It doesn't bother me. All right. I'm fine. But I need that feedback from you. We want to be able to move forward. I don't know everything. I don't proclaim to know everything. So I think that's another reason why I'm so happy to be part of this platform, because and that is one of the whys, because we want cops out there to understand. The other thing I would always say is, don't give me a complaint. And this is to your point, Jack. Don't give me a complaint, right? I have 1,000 complaints. I have enough complaints. Give me solutions. All right. And we'll work forward to those solutions. So that's what makes this platform so important. To give a voice to the cops, the supervisors that are out there that don't have the voice, that are pushed down by the upper echelons of the department, when in fact we've seen some of the most corruption going on, with Caban and Madry and all these other people. So I mean, that's to me why it's important, and that's why I love being with all you guys. It's a great honor.
If I could touch on something that some of you have covered already, especially Ron and Rob. Look, you're right. First off, analyzing things in hindsight, Monday morning quarterback, if you want to call it that. Look, those who don't know history are bound to repeat it. So when bad things happen, to put that out in front and talk about it is a good thing. So someone else doesn't make the same mistake someone else made. And look, policing isn't always pretty, right? Maintaining order sometimes is ugly. Having to restore order once it's lost is far uglier, we all know. So that's one thing. But then to touch on what you were just saying, look, when I came on the job, and I mentioned this last night when we were talking to Monty Bynum, I got a chance when I first got into the detective bureau to work with guys who were around in the Serpico days. They had 35 plus years of experience. I was a brand new detective. I didn't have anything in common with these guys. And at first I was like, this is going to suck, man. These are a bunch of old men. Here I am, 27 years old. Turned out to be such a gift, because the knowledge they passed back to me was invaluable. And I'm still trying to pay them back by trying to push that knowledge forward. But I mean, so you learn from them just as much as you learn from the bosses, the good bosses. We learn a lot of shit from the bad bosses too on what not to be, right? But when you have guys on the job, who are teaching people who came out of the academy 2 years after them, that knowledge transfer, it's not what it used to be. And that's why in some ways I feel bad for cops of today, is because they don't have that seniority to draw that experience from. So they're doing what they can with what they can, So again, learning from a guy that's done it for 30 years is a lot different than learning it from a guy who's done it for 5, right? And now people do 20 and out. And so, I mean, that's something of the past, man. And I wish we could bring it back. But we're doing that to what degree we can here by collectively probably got 150 years of police experience amongst us, and just talking about what we've seen, what we've experienced, the mistakes we've made, the mistakes we've witnessed. So I do think that's a benefit. But yeah, it's a tough time. And look, I got to ask you a question. When you were in SOD, by any chance, did you cross paths with a guy named Frank DiMaggio?
No, I'm not familiar with him.
Truly one of the best mentors I ever had on the job. He was a captain in the issue during 9/11. Great guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got there a little bit after. I got there like 2002. I got over there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my rant.
Marlon, you got anything else before we start to close out? I think it's Christmas Eve. We won't keep people too long. Marlon, and then we'll go to Sal.
Yeah, no, I think we're not. Chief spoke about that gap, and I think he's absolutely right. And I think that we're filling a gap not just in knowledge and leadership, but I think we're helping history out a little bit by those older figures in law enforcement that have been brought on by Pete and Tom. They're telling you some stories that would be lost in the pages of history, really. So I think that's also we're doing a great service to history also, and to the profession by keeping those stories alive and giving those people a platform that they could come on and still contribute their knowledge to law enforcement and to the profession as well, and to keep what they've done in the air of young law enforcement figures who might be watching this podcast. And who knows, maybe there's some guy who's watching the show and here's something that happened in the past, and it's going to give him a great idea to implement in his current in his current role or position, or rank, and that may change the face of law enforcement or preserve the culture that they have in that department. So I think I think we're doing God's work, and I can't wait to see where things where things continue. And I also think that you're going to see a trend of other similar podcasts where retired guys or guys who've left are going to come on and and they're going to try their best to preserve their agency and prevent it from going off the rails. Because again, a lot of retired guys, they all say the same things. It's just before we've never had like an outlet to get this out, and now you do. And this is a way of kind of saving your agency and kind of bringing things back to how they were, and showing that you still have a voice even though you may not be on the job right now.
Yeah, you still have everyone. You do have a voice, and I say this. I like to put out news. Me and John, Eric, Mom, we always like to either get ahead of the curve or we comment on things. But a lot of times we're breaking things ourselves, and it's not that we're hating on anyone, whatever agency it is. And of course, the taxpayers should know what's going on, which is also important. It's very important. The taxpayers don't know what's going on, but for cops in general, in order to change something, you need to do it from within. You can't just sit there and praise somebody. Like this morning when I said Inspector Fickrew did a great job. He also did something bad. But you need to highlight what's corrupt, what needs to be changed. In order, nothing's going to happen because these people that come into power, it's like a rotation. You change the face, but you still have the same character of the next person, the next person. That's what we're really trying to do because it's a negative environment. I got to be honest. When I was on the job, I'd walk into the precinct and it's just negativity surrounds you. Everything is bad. All the news is bad. By the time you're leaving, you're like, I just want to be like, I just want to watch like a movie or something that could change my mindset. Because when you're in there, it's negative. And that's it's like an outlet. You got people are stressed out. And for everybody who says, like that detective that was applauded, rightfully so, because he got the kid out of the car. That detective happened to be one tax number higher than mine. He was 2 and I was 3. There's a story like yesterday with Josh Torres. And if you didn't see my show, you should watch that, where this poor guy gets terminated because of some domestic issue where he wasn't even found guilty and they wanted to take a sealed record, which you can't do. And then they indicted him. For some nonsense that he was acquitted. So for each good story, there's a story like that. And it's many more people like Josh Torres on the job who the union failed and Stuart London failed as an attorney and all these other people than there are of somebody doing a great job and then, or handing boots out and getting a detective shield. Remember that guy? I mean, come on. So we're trying to change the culture from within, which is very hard to do. It probably would be a lifetime thing because it's over what? The police department has been around since what? The 1700s, 1800s. So there's a lot of untangling to do. But I'll keep my foot on the pedal. Everybody here will do the same. And I really hope everybody, during the holidays too, people should stick together because if I remember, there was a lot of stuff that used to happen on the holidays because people feel alone or they feel lost or whatever. And you need someone to talk to. Hey, message one of us. If there's something going on, you have information, you come to us as well. Because, look, I know the struggle. I was there. I went through my own thing. Everybody here has been a part of it. And the job is negative. I'm just going to say it. It's negative to walk into a precinct or command. So, just everybody stay focused. We're not going anywhere. And like this guy's in the comments. You know why Hulk Hogan was my favorite wrestler? And I liked it because he used to Hulk up. Remember when you try to beat him up? And at times he did it for Hulkamania. All the Hulkamaniacs loved him. But he was also Hollywood Hogan, and he did it basically in contrary to the trollers or the haters. So for every idiot in here that says something, I'm going to do what Hulk Hogan or Hollywood Hogan did. It's not going to change me. So, and I just, more news will keep coming. So they'll check out next year. There's going to be a lot on the great and powerful soccer mom of New York City, who, you know, you've heard what Marlon's been saying. There's a lot there. That's all I'm saying. And there'll be more being put out in the forefront. But Merry Christmas to all.
I just want to say, you know, one thing in retirement, and I will always be thankful that while there are good cops that are still out there, we get to be home. So for the cops that are out there right now that have to work on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, and that's nationwide, thank you. We appreciate what you do, that you're still out there. You know, I just want to say, I used to always volunteer, you know, because I was Jewish, but I love Christmas. Even though I'm Jewish, I always celebrate Christmas. I would even have Christmas trees. I love Santa. Like, who doesn't love Christmas? But I would always volunteer to work Christmas so that other guys could take time off. But I remember, for some reason, every time I would work Christmas, especially Christmas Eve, it'd be a shit show. You know, we would always say, hey, listen, let's try not to do anything today. But things would just happen right in front of your face. I always end up with a big robbery call, end up getting a gun, or just it's like a bloody scene on Christmas. Things like that would always happen. But I would always remember. So I just want to go around and ask you, because I always found it funny. Like, is there a stupid gift that you gave someone on Christmas or you got? Because I'll never forget, and I know it was like a kind gesture. Someone felt bad because I would always volunteer to work Christmas. I remember somebody bought me like this little cheap little menorah, like to put on my desk.
Yes, me too.
You too, and it didn't have all the candles, so they put like crayons in place of the candles. So.
That was the story I was about to tell, Eric. You stole it right out of my mouth.
So I just want to, have a little fun. If you guys could tell me like a stupid gift you gave someone on Christmas on the job or not, and I know Jack, you weren't a cop, but you got a good Christmas story. We appreciate it. So, what do you got?
No, I have to kick it off because I talked about my story. I was just like you, Eric, when I worked at the radio station. I would always voluntarily work on Christmas so the people who celebrated could take off. And funny enough, you could always tell that it was the Jewish people working on Christmas because when we got the schedule, the last names were Rosenberg, Kramer, Stern, Rosenfield. I mean, everyone had a Jewish name that was working on Christmas. But one year I show up on Christmas Day and we have one other Christian person working and he gives me a menorah, but it's made out of plastic and it only has room for 6 candles as opposed to 7 or 8. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think this is going to work. Also, the thing about Jewish people, a lot of people don't know this. We take a lot of pride in our menorahs, right? So like I have a menorah that was passed down to me from my great-great-grandmother. So when someone gives me a plastic crap menorah that looks like it was made in a factory 20 minutes ago, I honestly feel a little bit more insulted than complimented. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
But last thing before John goes, I just want to say, you're Jewish when you have Chinese food on Christmas. So,
dude, I was just gonna ask you guys. Is that real?
Yeah. General Tso's or orange chicken?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny shit. But yeah, me, dude, I would always go out with everybody, but like Christmas, birthdays, promotions, I always gave everybody Kool-Aid. That's what you got. You got a bag of Kool-Aid. Here, keep drinking it.
Perfect.
That was my thing. When you got promoted, you could expect a nice bag of Kool-Aid from me. You know, so we know.
Here's your Kool-Aid.
Yeah, here's your Kool-Aid. Keep drinking it. So,
Ron,
anybody else?
I know what Ron was giving out because I don't know if you know this, but Ron used to have this big office in housing, and I let you know this. I used to always go into his office. He had an open door policy.
Oh, here we go.
Cologne. For some reason, that was his gift. He would have like 90 bottles of cologne, and I would go and take a shower. Yeah, take one.
Cologne, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
We've told this story before, Eric. You exaggerate so much.
Wow.
I don't wear cologne, and I was gifted a few bottles of cologne over time, and I had them in my drawer in my desk because I don't wear cologne, right? And So, Eric's, pretty boy, always going out to the club, always, before he was, settled down and married and everything else. He had his +1, but we won't get into that, right?
Ooh.
And,
I had more than one.
so he'd come up to the office, and I'm like, I don't want to waste them because they were expensive bottles of cologne. And so I said, hey, do you wear cologne? And if I'm gonna give it out, I'm gonna re-gift it. I'm not gonna re-gift it like I'm buying it for the guy, right? I said, listen, it's in my drawer. And so I gave him a bottle of cologne. Now I got to hear about my 90 bottles of cologne, like I had a storage closet in my office of cologne that I would hand out.
You did have a bunch of bottles.
So you weren't an authorized Car Noir distributor?
Oh, that was my shit back in the day. But yeah, like you talked about, it was always good, and I always used to emphasize with the guys, and same thing. The Jewish guys would work on on Christmas the best that you could, and be able to give the off. We always had to work with ourselves, with each other, and that was the difference when I think we were cops, and today it's the cops, just like the leadership, are out for themselves instead of having that family, that feeling of family, that feeling of unity, and you have to get back to that and always try to do what's best, for the whole. And not just for yourself. And, it was the same thing, let the family guys have off on Christmas. You work on New Year's, the single guys have off on New Year's, because they're going to go out and they're going to party on New Year's and have a good time on New Year's. Right. But let the family people have off. If, you're a single guy. All right. So maybe, you miss Christmas with mom or whatever, instead of someone missing Christmas with their kids. I would always, go to the bare safest minimums in the command to give as many people off as possible. And, what people don't realize, when people say, there's no excuses never means no excuses. No excuses means as few as possible, and to the bosses out there, be a boss, make a decision. If you feel somebody deserves off, give them off. And then, answer for it later. If the boss says, how come we were short or whatever the case, listen, somebody had a bad year. I thought they deserved to be home with their family for the year, And, as the boss, we always got off unless we were doing a detail or whatever the case may be. But, when I was in my commands, I always took the time on Christmas and made sure I went in, brought, trays of cookies for the desk, spoke to the guys at roll call, wished them a Merry Christmas, let them know that, I appreciated them and that, this is the job that we've chose. We've all missed a ton of holidays with our families, a ton of birthdays, a ton of all kinds of events. But, you have to be able to just do the right thing. And listen, a lot of times it's always better to beg for forgiveness than to ask for permission, right? Just do it. Just do it. There's ways of doing it, There's the old, the cops work 8:35, right? Yeah, so there's a lot of, on the holidays, there was a lot of 8-hour lost times, It's just the way it is, figure out how those 8-hour 28s were dropped, And if the old, we do the acronyms, right? If you know, that's the way it was. You do the right thing by people, and it's not about it being in for yourself. You got to do what's best for everybody. Try to look out for one another. The holidays are a hard time. Don't make them even harder and put strain on the families. And everything else. So yeah, there's your cologne story. And it wasn't a whole closet full like you make it sound.
And a cheap menorah.
Yeah, let me get the squad story if I
We
could.
could have a lot of bottles of cologne, and they weren't cheap ones.
Yeah, good stuff, Ron. I want to go on the heels of that, the squad's perspective. As a reminder, I was a squad commander in 7-9 from 99 to 04. Very busy time, 30 murders, 100 non-fatal shootings, 5,000 criminal cases a year on the average during those periods of time. We had 35 detectives, 3 sergeants, and the lieutenant. And any of the big holidays, it was really the sergeants. I had great sergeants. I had about eight sergeants over those 5 years, rotated through. And it never came to me. They always handled it out in the squad room. Who's working? Period. That's it. And it just came in and said, okay, on the Christmas, on the New Year's, we got 2 and 2, and that's it. And then the sergeants were always the borough coverage. So there would be at least one sergeant working in Brooklyn North. So whoever that was. And if it was one of my sergeants working on that holiday, they would probably recruit somebody and say, come on, work with me on that day, and we'll make sure. And maybe, just maybe, the 3 people that were working might have only lived within a mile or 2 from the squad room. You know what I mean? And, they were out interviewing witnesses. And the point that I'm making is work it out and make it happen, because true men and women who take care of each other and take care of the job and know how to work it out and not even have to bring it to the boss. They take care of business. And Pete, to your point, you don't have to have rank to be a leader. Monty Bynum talked about it last night with Lance Corporals or leaders. And, so the folks that I was privileged to work with in the 7-9 squad, they were leaders too. Many of them were true leaders. Not all, but very much most of them, because they were in a busy command. They knew how to take care of it, and they never wanted any problems leaving the office. They just didn't want it. Why bring that to you? So 2 people have to work. That is the minimum manning. You can't work 1 detective. It just couldn't do that. If you could, you would, but you can't. And they just figured it out and worked it out. And I never had to make a decision on a holiday. It was always handled with what needed to be staffed. So I appreciate them. I've never forgotten them. I still talk to a lot of them today, and it was an honor. And I hope the rank and file today build those same kinds of relationships and see those same kind of behaviors today. And that's what we're doing here today. And this whole podcast is sending that message of the way it was, the way it could be, and the way it should be, and try to get back to that.
Hey, Tom, to your point, like, you can take a promotion exam. That doesn't make you a leader. Okay. That just makes you a rank, a designation. So there's other ways to be leaders. Like last night on a podcast, recommendation of reading books, right? Just read a leadership book. You look at previous leaders. There's way to do it. And for me, it was experience. And when I first became a sergeant, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And even as a lieutenant, I felt I had a better grip on it, but I probably didn't. Until you're into those positions, then you don't know how to lead. So that's an important thing. So, and my Christmas story is, we used to get an Olive Garden gift card, and nobody wanted to go to Olive Garden. So every year somebody else would get that gift. So it would be a repeat thing, and it would just go around the command. So
what were the Italian guys in the command thinking about that? I mean, they all had mothers and fathers and grandmothers who made the best sauce and gravy.
They spit on the floor, Jack.
Pasta carbonara, all that stuff.
I bet that Olive Garden card was expired.
Yeah, well,
don't get John started on the sauce versus gravy.
No, it's just like, in the same way Jewish people feel insulted when someone gifts them a menorah, Italian people have to be looking at that gift card like, I'm never going to use this thing.
You re-give. You keep it in your desk until Eric comes in.
Is there like a secondary resale market for gift cards nowadays? I'm kind of thinking about that, because Ron's reselling the cologne or regifting the cologne. Rob's regifting the Olive Garden gift cards. Like, can we normalize regifting gifts that we get that we don't actually like, instead of acting all happy and excited? Oh my God, I wasn't expecting this. In your head, you're saying, I'm never going to wear this sweatshirt.
Jack, it took me years to be okay with. Like, I remember growing up, people would be like, "Oh, do you wear those little hats or beanies?" I'm like, "It's not a beanie, it's a yarmulke."
All right, look, we're cracking an hour here. You guys want to hit the super chats and we'll run? Got a busy day, bro. We were cooking all last night. I'm gonna be cooking more tonight.
What were you cooking, John? We have to know now.
So we have a tradition here. We make like homemade pizza and rice balls. So, but the pizza is not like the pizza you think of. It's like it's more like a chicken roll like type pizza. So, but all different styles of pizza, like you know. So we do that, and then today, obviously, we got to do all the fishing and all that stuff. So.
Oh, that sounds so good.
So yeah, so we're doing that. So
John, be mindful. Send the slice of pizza to Joyce's Tavern. All right, I know you. It might be on a Christmas.
Big slice, really, really big slice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, John, because we're retired now. I only do 3.5 fishes. I can't. I'm a fixed income.
So a fixed income. Fixed income.
Aren't you supposed to eat bacala?
You know what's sad though is like like a lot of places I used to order a lot of places, but a lot of those places closed. Like sometimes we would order because so your whole house doesn't stink, and so we would order all the fish and it would be all made, and your house still stinks even from that. But those places are all leaving, and I'm like, even to get good fish today, I'm like, I don't even know. Like it's hard, and I'm on Staten Island, and you would think that you wouldn't have that problem, right? Like, so it's like it's sad to watch, dude. So I mean, Sal's probably got better places down where he is in Florida to get the fish from.
Yeah, because they all moved from New York to that.
Yeah.
I did. That was a tradition. All kidding aside, I would always get Chinese food on Christmas, but now I'm out west. There ain't no good Chinese food, so I don't know what I'm gonna eat this year.
See if next time you're in Gilbert, I got a recommendation, bro, for some good Chinese food.
Really? Okay, I gotta hit you up.
Our road. Yeah.
Well, Eric, the good news is if there is a good Chinese restaurant within 20 miles of where you are, you're going to see all the Orthodox Jewish people in the area eating there during Christmas. So that's how you know it's good.
Hey, John, is Lobster House Joe still there?
He just left, dude. He just left. Yeah, he just left. I'm sad. Like I used to that was one of the places I would either get the fish to cook or I would have them pre-make it. But yeah. So that place is gone. It just left. Just out now. So it's sad, sad to see.
That was a great spot, by the way. Old school. I love that they had just a couple of tables, not fancy. That was a great spot.
He's got a nice spot out in Jersey though, in like Monroe, like in the area over there. So he's got like a nice restaurant there still. So he's still going. He's still going out, and that's what it's,
That's a shame. It showed. Well, listen, New York City's great. Crime is down. The outlook is, they have everything. But Joe's Lobster House can't afford to be there anymore. But
and I'm lying. And you know where else he is? He's on Page. Like so, he's all the way out too. Like all the not on Page on Ought to Kill, like off of Ought to Kill. He's got a nice place there too. I just remembered. So he's got the two. He's got one all the way out, right by the outer bridge. So that's like the last stop, right before everybody goes to Jersey or Florida, right before they hit 95.
Yeah. So. But listen, every time I drive down Highland Boulevard, lately, I'm sure if Lobster House is gone, there'll be a nice halal spot opening up.
What's bigger for you guys? Is it Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? The reason why I say because when I worked in the Bronx and I lived in the Bronx. Mostly Hispanic people, Christmas Eve is like a big deal. They didn't really care about Christmas Day. But for you guys, what's Italians more Christmas Day or Christmas Eve?
No, Christmas Eve for us, right, Sal? For me, I don't know what about you, Sal. Like Christmas Eve is a huge, and Pete, like that's where we all get together. Like like it's you spread out family, like all your cousins, your aunts, your uncles. Then Christmas Day is like your immediate family, your sisters, So it's like it's the big day on Christmas Eve, and then it dwindles down to Christmas. That's how we do it anyway. I don't know what do you guys do?
24 hours a lot.
Yeah. And look, my wife's family's Puerto Rican, so for us, the Christmas Eve was an even bigger event because
Christmas Eve,
yeah. So we didn't do the 7. Last time, my in-laws did the 7 fishes, and then they insisted we take home leftovers. I couldn't ride my car for like freaking 3 days after that. Oh my god! The fish does not even reheat well. I don't even know why they gave it to us. The fish doesn't reheat very well.
What is the 7 fishes thing? Why is it not okay to just cook 1 or 2 different types of fish?
I don't like fish. I'd be happy with none. Give me braccio.
Sick. You boys we'll start reading the super chats out and then we'll hit the road. Anybody else got anything before we go? Anybody?
I don't know. I think they forgot it's Christmas because the super chats are kind of low today. Nah, read about it.
Listen, it's free speech, but take this clown Jason off the thing because Lobster Joe, House Joe is definitely not shit. You're entitled to your opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. All right.
Well, for me, it's coffee and donuts for Christmas here. Let's go.
Yeah. All right, let's do it. So, all right, first one. Look at this, boys. The number one listener to the Finest Unfiltered. You gotta hate him or love him. You gotta love him because I know we all love him here because he's always here. Lieutenant Juju, Professor Lieutenant Juju. You know, criminologist at hand. Everything. He, he donates to the Finest Unfiltered channel. Merry Christmas, everyone. This payment can't be traced out. We don't have to trace it. We know who you are, bro. We won't blow you up. Your secret.
I beg to differ. And we know why he's on because he was recently moved from one unit to the next. So just
it's a big promotion. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Juju, but we'll be waiting for the next book.
Yeah. We're actually Juju. We're sending a foil there. Make sure you guys put it together good. All right.
Okay. Just remember, hate isn't the opposite of love. Okay. So
that's right, Marlon. Hate is kind of like coexist with love, right? I think Juju really loves us.
Juju, I don't think really hates us. I think he's a fan. You know, I would consider him a good fan. Shell too. He just hasn't realized that he's a fan yet. Like that he's amazing.
I don't like to say haters are my waiters sitting at my table of success or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that phrase is applicable with Juju because he's in the comment section on every single show. And when people tell him to go away, he continues to chime in. So he really has like a deep-rooted affection and affinity for all of us.
I just wish I had a job where I could listen to podcasts all day when I was in the NYPD.
Hey, Sal,
he got hooked up.
Yeah. Sal, stay trained up. Says, please out Lieutenant Juju. I'll donate $500.
Listen, I got a lot of offers just for this alone. They might have to do a raffle or something. I mean, we're gonna be like, it's this guy. When you see it, you start laughing. I mean, I've seen the pictures. It's ridiculous. I love the ones with the soccer jersey. You think you're like me. That's even better. I mean, but this guy, look, when he says a table of success, remember, if this guy thinks he's at Eric Adams' table of success, I want to give you Exhibit A, Tony Herbert, who also thought he was at the table of success.
And then Adams fired him.
You're not at that table.
And they were trying to blame me for him getting fired. I was like, I'm not the mayor. Adams fired him.
now Tony's under the table. He can't even get invited.
Yeah. He's back out. He's a community advocate again.
Yeah.
Oh, we love those community advocates. They're real honest people, aren't they?
Yeah. So Hardcore X donates a big donation, $200. Thank you, brother. Happy holidays. Thank you for being the voice of the
Hardcore X. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for always being here, brother. Merry Christmas. Amazing Aunt, great work as always. Amazing Aunt was in the fight, right? She was out there election day pulling for Sliwa too. She was at the rallies. So, she's always helping the podcast. She's always promoting us. So we appreciate you, Amazing Aunt. I know everybody on here does, I don't know if Tom and Pete, I don't know if you guys know the work that Amazing Aunt puts in the background, but she's always out there promoting us. So
yeah, no, we're connected. We talk.
Okay.
Big time. Oh yeah.
Good people. The best.
So KB in NYC donates. He says for the cannolis, the cappuccino, and the 7 fish at one. Thank you, brother. And then good friend Steven S. Steven's vital friend to the show. Always, good to connect with Steven in person too over the course of this year as well. So I consider Steven a good friend, and a great person. So he says, "Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you all for being here. God bless all." Joe Mango. Joe Mango's always here. He says, "Merry Christmas, guys. John, when are we getting the Crumb series? Remember Eric, this Santa Claus character quote should be there."
John, I'll be honest. That Crumbs book, it just got another chapter just last night from Molina. You're running out of room here.
Yeah,
to answer Joe's question, we're going to need to create a series of books. One book is not going to be able to We're going to need to have a precursor book before Adams mayoralty during the scamdemic. We're going to need to have one about the 4 years when he was in office. That's going to be 1,000 pages long. We're not going to be able to condense it. And then we need a post-mortem report as well. So this is going to be a 3-part series all to be released at once, just so we set expectations.
No. It's crumbs from Jamaica Queens to City Hall. Like that's the
title.
opening book. But
Yeah.
yesterday we got the pension scam. That's the next that's the last. That's the ending. That's going to be one of the ending chapters in the end term of Eric Adams. But I am working on a book in the background. It's not going to be the crumbs as first, but like with 100%. Once that's all said and done and wrapped up, crumbs is coming. So my first book experiment should be announced in not too long.
Crumbs.
So Pat Donahue, the original Mad Chatter, the original Mo. We'll give a shout out to Hassan Mo too. But he said donation to the Menorah Fund, Jack. I ordered a custom bar stools for Eric and John, but Etsy notified me they are delayed due to tariffs.
Hey, Pat, are you drinking already, dude, at 9:20 in the morning? I'm not sure I fully understand what this message is saying.
That's hilarious.
No, Pat doesn't drink, bro.
Really?
Pat's sober like us. He just didn't have his coffee yet.
Oh. Well, we appreciate the donation, Pat. I'm going to go out and buy a new menorah. Apparently, they don't make menorahs nowadays like they did 100 years ago, so the quality won't be as good. But yeah,
there's only 6 candles now.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, we need some customary bar stools as well.
If you were in the Crumbs crew, you can afford a gold-plated menorah somehow.
Yeah.
Maybe you get that donated to you from some crony from the Eric Adams crew.
Well, I mean, look, everybody gets a police pension today. If you're friends with Eric Adams, you get a police pension. I'm waiting to see like his girlfriend too. I'm waiting for her. She outs herself. Then people start looking into her. She writes that fluff book like it was going to be this big expose. Then it turns out she's getting city contracts, working for the city. I'm not going to be shocked when I see her come down on the orders. Like she's going to come down on the police pension fund. I'm waiting for Eric Adams to come down on the police pension fund. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. I think you're going to see Eric Adams retire from the New York City Police Department. With his mayor's salary, because that's what the hell they're doing.
What's his tax number? 999.
Yeah, he got reinstated at some point. Like it's a scam, dude. Like it's a huge problem. And I know Bob Holden made a stink about it on his last days, but it's something that really and like it there was the marker when you knew Adams was going to be corrupt, dude. You knew he was going to be corrupt right away because no one ever looked into that $780 million with the Thrive New York. He didn't look into it as the mayor, right? He didn't do anything. Everyone's like, where's de Blasio's wife and the money? Like, where was Eric Adams' people to look at this? What did they do? Instead he was like, we're having problems with Thrive. We're gonna rename it and give it a little bit more money. And everybody's like, oh great, corruption's gone now. And now Zohran Mamdani's going to come in here, the great socialist, the great millionaire socialist is going to come in here, save everything. And if he doesn't look into audit the books in New York City and in the NYPD, and if he's not looking to hold people accountable, you know what's going to happen. It's just going to be more of the same. It's going to be the same grift, and it's going to be the same Democrat scams going on again. And all of Zohran Mamdani's friends are going to start to retire from the New York City Police Department. And saying like that, he's either going to protect the scam, which I think he'll do, or he's going to open the books. And I think he's going to protect the grift. That's what I think. I think Tammany Hall 2.0 is in effect right now, and it's rocking
100%.
hard. And Republicans in New York and Democrats in New York are all trying to protect it because they all got government contracts coming out, and they're all eating very nice. There's a lot of gold menorahs.
Give a big shout out to Hardcore X, man. He just hit us up with another 200. Thank you, brother. It's really, really generous here on Christmas. Another 200 coffee and donuts. We really appreciate it, man. Big shout out. Merry Christmas to you. If you ever want to reach out to us, let us know exactly who you are. We appreciate it, but we'll keep that confidential. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Really
I want to give one to Special Hagen, who's always here. Special Hagen started where she was a little timid in the beginning, and she has her own story, and hopefully one day she'd come on my show and talk about it. But she's always in here, and she's always, she gives a lot of comments about the Crumbs crew and about all these things they've done. So, as you know, she's an attorney. She's written a lot of things on her blog now. She started writing. She credits that to us because we've kind of like opened up her eyes to a lot of different things. So big shout out to Special Hagen. I hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's super generous though, hardcore. We
Really
really
nice.
appreciate it.
Really
That was very nice. It'll go towards the network. You know, we're trying to build out, so we definitely appreciate that. KB in New York also sends another one. He says first drink at Joyce's Tavern. I think we could buy the bar with Hardcore X. I think we could go.
Well, we could definitely buy that bar stool.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
What time does the fat leprechaun stumble into Joyce's Tavern today? Because we all know he's going to be ditching his own family to go out drinking. That's the
He's
show.
there now. He's there now, I believe.
Yeah.
He just finished up at the buffet last night.
That's right. Yeah,
He's having the Irish breakfast right now.
Look, there's two things you want.
Twitter.
You want a podcast? You want to start a podcast? You want Juju. You want a guy like Juju. You open a bar? You want a guy like John Chow. Like, that's it. Like, those guys keep doing business. You know, like, that's it.
You know, Sal, you and I, we should sign up and do one of maybe Juju has a virtual online course. Maybe we could do one of his courses.
What do you think his reaction would be to Sal or Eric showing up to one of his virtual courses and just casually asking a question like they have no idea what's going on?
Fear.
I think he shit himself, brother.
He would be like a deer in headlights looking around like, holy crap, are these guys really in my class right now calling me out? They're taking away all of my credibility.
Well, look, I don't think we should do virtual. I think we should do live. This way we could bring his book and get him to sign it, autograph copy.
You know what, Juju? When I'm in New York, I'm coming to one of your classes. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm signing up because you're so smart. I'm so impressed by you.
On the inner cover,
does he
Eric,
like?
Sign it to Eric, my biggest fan.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Hour 20 minutes. Come on, Christmas Eve. Let's go before my wife starts yelling at me. You guys want to go around one more time and end out?
Oh, we
Yeah,
got.
you
still have
really
more,
smell the fish?
you're still getting more super chats here.
Yeah.
It's still coming in.
No, it's
Oh,
told
man.
to you so
Yeah,
back
I
when
told you
says
so.
Shell grow some balls and come on right now.
On a separate and kind of, I guess, unrelated note, it's really sad that someone who's making $31,000 a month has accumulated a pretty good amount in savings by all indications because he was making about $250,000 a year. It's sad that someone who has that much money in the bank and that much money coming in their mid-50s is sitting on social media no less than 4 nights a week, pissed drunk out of their minds, picking fights with people that they never see or speak to. I mean, that must be a really sad existence on planet Earth. And you just hope that the guy finds happiness in life at some point in time on a more personal level, because it's just kind of painful to see, in all seriousness.
Look, there's always redemption, bro. Every day we wake up, we could start new. It's the decisions we make, you know. That's what it is, you know. So, all right, fellas.
There is, but in his special case, if you ask me, he has demons because every night when he closes his eyes, he must see the guy that he shot in the back. If you ask me, that's what's got him. So, can God redeem him? Well, he's got to redeem himself first. So, that's the most I'm going to say about this guy.
Yeah. By the way, I just want to remind friends and listeners, I apologize. I must have gotten the John disease because on Monday when we did the show, I didn't realize. I thought Christmas Day was on Friday. So John and I, and if Marlon, if you can make it, of course. If not, we'll be on Friday for the roundtable. If anybody else wants to jump on after Christmas Day, so we'll be on Friday for the roundtable. I forgot. I thought Friday was Christmas Day, and John didn't correct me. Apparently, he thought it was Christmas Day too. So
No, I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. That was it's like maybe he's right.
John had the show going tomorrow.
Yeah.
So tomorrow's the executive perspective, right?
I looked at the link. I'm like, 33 hours scheduled in 33 hours. Like, John, you got things scheduled for December 25th.
I was busy yesterday. All right.
Actually, no, this is great.
It was in the eggnog.
Lily said, "Let's
Could
get
be
John
a Christmas Day
Christmas.
stream.
Yeah.
We just have the U log on.
It's told to you. Someone says, "Shell, extend the podcast today."
Well, listen, the only traction on certain people's social media is when the Finest Unfiltered chat is commenting and going on their threads.
he hooked me yesterday with the whole, that Sal put out that Kaz might like become the deputy director of the FBI. Like he's hearing rumors and certain media outlets, pretty big ones, are calling around asking everybody if Kaz is going to be the deputy director of the FBI and replace Dan Bongino. I think it would be hysterical.
Yeah.
But Shell hooked me because he was like, oh, well, just make sure you're a good citizen and you eat your vegetables and you say your prayers. Basically saying, like, the same way we weaponize the NYPD against you is we'll weaponize the FBI against you. And it's like, oh, all right. I mean, I could see it happen, and we'll just team up with the Suspendables, you know. They're already doing that, you know. Kaz and Cash will be some
Albert and Costello.
Yeah.
That's what they are. One's tall, one's short.
I think if that happens, we're gonna need a new time slot to fit in Kyle Seraphin on this network. You know?
Yeah, we're gonna need a Kyle hour. Exactly. Sick, man. So, all right, anybody got anything? Anybody got anything before we go?
No, you gotta read that one out loud though about Kaz. That tweet. That you gotta read that out loud. That's great. Before we get out of here.
So John Shell puts this out. Suspenseful. Oh my, where is he? You know exactly who. Kaz Daughtry. My phone hasn't stopped ringing. Everyone wants answers about what he's doing next, but I don't have them. I'm not lying. I genuinely don't know. Even I've been thinking, okay, I went to Catholic school. I'm lying. All units, 10-6. Merry Christmas.
Was this supposed to be a poem?
That is no, what that is a drunken, unhinged rant, and he's saying that he's basically shitting all over God and mocking Catholicism because he's saying that he went to Catholic school, so it's okay for him to lie because that's where he was taught to lie. So I don't know what kind of school he attended. John, I'm sorry for your childhood, but you know,
he went to Severian High School.
Blame those people, not your religion as a whole. So that's what he's doing. That's just a drunken, unhinged rant of his. But whatever, screw him. Look, John Shell, have a Merry Christmas and Merry Christmas to everybody. Anybody got anything before we go?
Yeah, John, I got one thing. John Shell's Christmas wish is that he's called Chief again. That's what it is.
That's right. Yeah. Rob, drop the mic on that one. That's all right. Maybe he'll be like Resnick and come back, as a commissioner, but tell everybody to call him Chief. John, I'm sure you heard that quite often. Call me Chief, right? You worked at Resnick. Another loser.
Someone says, John, get an LBA calendar. I got my LBA cards this year, if you could believe it. They remember my address this year. I can't believe it. So
they send everybody to your house. So
yeah.
You should know.
Do you have a shirtless photo shoot planned for the LBA calendar?
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, maybe next year. Maybe next year we'll all come on shirtless in honor of John. All 9 of us.
Speak for yourself.
No, we just hosted at Joyce's Tavern. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Live podcast.
Yeah.
Well, listen, everybody. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the entire Finest Unfiltered family for jumping on this morning. We kind of put it together last minute. Sorry, Tom. Tom, we were going to tell you at 8 a.m.
7:55. Yeah. 7:55.
Listen, so like I said, we will be back Friday. Everybody have a Merry Christmas, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. It doesn't matter to me. I know Christmas represents a lot when it comes to religion, but even being Jewish, I just love Christmas. I love what it represents. It brings everyone together. It's a sad time, but at the same time, I want to thank everyone for being with us, helping us grow. We grow together, and I mean it. We say it all the time. The chat, our friends and listeners, and just the engagement and everything on social media. We want to thank you because you really helped us grow and get to this point. We grow together. We're building a community. We're building an army here. So thank you, everyone. We're getting close to New Year's. Thank you to the entire team here. Super impressive. I mean, you have a lot of law enforcement experience here nationwide. I mean, from the police department to ATF, thank you, Pete, bringing that experience and putting this on a national level. You and Tom really have put us on the national level. I want to thank you for that. Rob and Ron, thank you so much for your experience, being executives and being so humble on this network. And Jack, thank you so much not being a cop and joining us and giving us insight to what it is to be young. And I think Jack also learned a lot about cops and getting to see that cops are human and people too. And we appreciate that. And I appreciate, John, thank you so much. We embarked on this journey together, and Sal, You know, I kind of feel like we were the trio starting this thing together. And Marlon, man, Marlon is like Superman behind the scenes. He really is. And Marlon, I can't thank you enough for the hard work that you put into this. Thank you, everyone. Let's keep rocking the Finest Unfiltered. Thank you. We appreciate it. And Stephen S., who just put on the chat, I'll never forget that you came to Derek's funeral. Thank you. You have a big place in my heart. So thank you, everyone.
All right, that's it. Finest Unfiltered, people. We'll be back at you. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Right. Be safe.
There's a handful of retired officers that don't live in the state that have a lot to say about the dream team, as I like to call it. All of a sudden, they retire and have a master plan on how to fight crime, but nothing to contribute when they were here. They want to come back and be part of the dream team. What can I say?